All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Sarabjit Kaur. The headlines. Government expresses concern over recent spike in COVID-19 cases in Maharashtra and Punjab. Maharashtra reports highest single-day spike of COVID-19 cases, says ICMR. Campaigning for the first phase of assembly elections to end this evening in Assam and West Bengal. Election Commission suspends an observer of West Bengal over alleged misconduct and misuse of official position. Parliament passes National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Bill 2021. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to embark on a 2-day visit to Bangladesh tomorrow. This is the first visit abroad after 15 months. A special court in Delhi directs Congress leader P. Chidambaram and his son Karti to appear before it in connection with the INX Media money laundering case. European Union tightens export curbs over COVID-19 vaccines in a bid to avoid shortfall. Asia's largest tulip garden in Srinagar set to open for general public and tourists from today. And in sports and ICC T20 International Player Rankings, Virat Kohli moves to 4th position, Rohit Sharma advances to 14th spot. As the number of COVID cases are on the rise again, we appeal to our listeners not to lower the guard, follow all the precautions and all those above 45 years to get vaccinated without any hesitation. Stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Government has expressed concern of the recent spike in COVID-19 cases in Maharashtra and Punjab. Addressing media in New Delhi yesterday, Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan said, Maharashtra and Punjab are of grave concern, which have shown recent surge in new cases. Maharashtra reported highest 28,699 cases in the last 24 hours, followed by Punjab with 2,254 cases. The Health Secretary said India's total active caseload has reached 3,68,457 today, which is 3.14% of total cases, and top 10 districts where maximum active cases are concentrated in Pune, Nagpur, Mumbai, Thane, Nashik, Aurangabad, Nanded, Jalgaon, Akola and Bengaluru urban. The Health Ministry added that the revised time interval between 2 doses of COVID vaccine is applicable only to Covishield and not to Covaxin vaccine. These 2 vaccines are being utilized in the ongoing vaccination drive. Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan said time interval between 2 doses of Covishield vaccine has been increased to 4 to 8 weeks after the first dose instead of earlier practice interval of 4 to 6 weeks.
अगर अंतराल 2 डोजेस के बीच कोविशील्ड के 4 से 8 हफ्ते का है तो किसी भी बेनिफिशियरी के पास ये चॉइस है कि वो 4थे हफ्ते में जाएं, 5वें हफ्ते में जाएं या उसके बाद जाएं, लेकिन साइंटिफिक एविडेंस ये कहता है कि आपको मिलने वाला प्रोटेक्शन बढ़ जाता है अगर दूसरी डोज आप 6ठे, 7वें या 8वें हफ्ते में लगवाएं.
He also informed that the government has allowed the citizens aged more than 45 years for COVID vaccination from 1st of next month and the conditions of comorbidities have been removed.
1 अप्रैल से कोई भी नागरिक जो 45 बरस या उससे अधिक आयु के हैं वो वैक्सीनेशन के लिए एलिजिबल होंगे. अब कोमॉर्बिडिटीज की शर्त को हटा दिया गया है. ये भी कहा गया कि इस प्रक्रिया के लिए जो रजिस्ट्रेशन है कोविन पर वो 1 अप्रैल से प्रारंभ होगा. ये निर्णय क्यों लिया गया? ये निर्णय इसलिए लिया गया है कि हमारे देश में कुल कोविड मृत्यु का 88% मृत्यु उस आयु वर्ग में है जो 45 बरस से अधिक के हैं.
On genome sequencing, Director of the National Center for Disease Control, Dr. Sujit Kumar Singh said that genome sequencing by the Indian SARS-CoV-2 Consortium on Genomics, INSACOG, has sequenced 10,787 SARS-CoV-2 genome from COVID-19 positive international travelers as well as from the country. He said so far 771 variants have been detected in 18 states, out of which 736 are UK variants, 34 are South African variant, and 1 sample was found positive for viruses of the Brazilian lineage He said so far no linkage has been seen with surge in COVID-19 cases due to foreign travellers. Niti Aayog member Dr. V.K. Paul said the government has adequate supplies of vaccines to deliver on the vaccination program and there is no shortage of it. He said supplies of vaccines are assured, efficient and satisfactory at the district and state level as well as the place where vaccination has been done. Dr. Paul said that adverse events following immunization AEFI committee has concluded that there is no problem of thrombosis event due to Covishield vaccine and it is safe.
The centre has opened COVID-19 vaccination for everyone aged above 45 years starting 1st of April, irrespective of comorbidity. The cut-off date for the 45-plus years category is those persons born before 1st January 1977. The comorbidities clause has been removed to make the system simpler. The CoWIN system will be open for registration and for booking of appointment of all persons of 45 years and above from the 1st of April. On-site registration of such persons will also be permissible from the same day. More details from our correspondent.
There is no shortage of vaccines in the country. People should not unnecessarily panic. The government has a well-oiled system that regularly monitors total vaccine allocation, total consumption and balance of vaccine and need for replenishment. If a beneficiary has taken an online appointment for vaccination on CoWIN, then there is no need to take any further appointment at private or public hospitals. If any hospital does not follow the guidelines of vaccination, then one must lodge a complaint at toll-free number 1075. The beneficiary is advised to take the second dose of Covishield vaccine in the 6th to 8th week of the date of first dose. It is advisable not to delay beyond the 8th week as it may leave the beneficiary vulnerable. Suparna Sekhya, IIR News, Delhi.
In Maharashtra, the highest single-day spike since the first infection was detected yesterday. The genome sequencing by the Indian SARS-CoV-2 Consortium on Genomics INSACOG has shown variants of concern and a novel variant in India. Analysis of samples from Maharashtra revealed that new mutations are found in 15 to 20% samples. Talking exclusively to AIR News, ICMR's head for epidemiology and communicable diseases, Dr. Samiran Panda, said the way of infection remains the same in the new strain and the old strain. People are ignoring COVID-19 guidelines. As per recent Sero survey, 75% Indians are not infected by coronavirus. So, he appealed to everyone to follow social distancing, wear mask and avoid social gatherings.
It's very important कि हमें सावधानी बरतना चाहिए, 2 गज की दूरी, हाथ साफ सुथरा रखना, मास्क इस्तेमाल करना और ये जो लार्ज गैदरिंग्स हो रही है ना, सोशल इवेंट का कारण हो या रिलीजियस इवेंट्स हो या इलेक्शन कैंपेन हो, ये सब अवॉइड करना चाहिए और ये 4 चीज होते हुए भी हम वैक्सीनेशन रोल आउट प्रोग्राम चालू किया है। ये 5 एक साथ हम ठीक तरीके से करते हैं तो चेन ऑफ ट्रांसमिशन ऑफ द वायरस ये हम रोक पाएंगे।
In Gujarat, 1,790 new coronavirus cases were reported yesterday, which is the highest one-day rise since the pandemic began. On the other hand, as many as 1,90,858 people received the COVID vaccination yesterday. So far, more than 42,94,000 people have been vaccinated in the state. Our correspondent reports that in view of the sudden spike in COVID cases, the state government has intensified efforts to fight the virus. A report from Ahmedabad correspondent.
The state government has banned all the public celebrations of Holi and Dhuleti in view of COVID-19 pandemic. As per the notification issued by Home Department, the ritual of Holika Dahan can be observed in small gatherings. The State Health Department has increased the number of Dhanvantri Rath to 958 from 775. These mobile vans have provided essential healthcare service to around 3.5 crore people in the state so far. The State Health Department said, while the number of cases has surged in the state, symptoms in most cases are mild, which is reflected by relatively less consumption of medical oxygen. The department said currently 91 cubic ton medical oxygen is being consumed per day in hospitals, which was 241 cubic ton during November 2020. At present, there are around 8,823 active cases of COVID-19 in the state. Aparna Khud, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
In Madhya Pradesh, the state government yesterday announced lockdown in 4 more cities along with Bhopal, Indore, Jabalpur.
In Bihar, 170 fresh cases of COVID-19 were reported yesterday in different parts of the state. This is the highest on a single day in the last 2 months. Maximum 74 cases were reported from Patna. In view of the increasing number of corona cases, the state government has issued a directive to impose a ban on Holi Milan at public places this year. The district administrations have been instructed to organize peace committee meetings to ensure love and harmony during the Festival of Colors. Random corona tests have been done along entry points of bordering areas of Nepal. Special attentions have been paid on those people who are coming from Nepal in different parts of the state. 261,648 patients have recovered from the COVID-19 infection in the state so far. COVID-19 recovery rate is improved to 99.13% in Bihar. 726 patients are receiving treatment at various hospitals.
Odisha crossed a milestone yesterday by administering more than 20 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses to the beneficiaries. The state has delivered a total of 20,22,029 vaccine shots to beneficiaries as on date since the drive began on the 16th of January this year. More details from our Bhubaneswar correspondent.
Yesterday alone, the state vaccinated more than 60,000 beneficiaries in 812 session sites across the state, with around 52,000 of them being senior citizens. Vaccine wastage rate in the state is only 0.24%, that is far below the permissible limit of 10%. Meanwhile, the state that had been witnessing a viral spread down below 100 per day over the last few days saw it spiking to 170 yesterday as against only 71 recoveries, thereby signaling early warning for people to continue using mask sanitizer hands and maintaining social distance. Girish Chandra Das, EIR News, Bhubaneswar.
In Tamil Nadu, a total of 1,636 people tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. Active cases were more than 9,000. More than 1,000 have been discharged after treatment. In Kanchipuram, at least 52 first-year medical students of the Meenakshi Medical College Hospital at Enathur in Kanchipuram district have tested positive for COVID-19. The district public health officer, Dr. V.K. Palani, said that other students who have tested negative are in home quarantine. A report.
Tamil Nadu Health Secretary Dr. Radhakrishnan said clusters like educational institutions and workplaces were going up across the state. College administrations have been asked to follow mask and social distancing norm at all times. With 532 new cases being reported in Chennai, the highest since November, health officials said the city is witnessing a spike in both the number of clusters and their sizes. Joy, AIR News, Chennai.
In Ladakh, the administration has ramped up the COVID-19 containment measures in Leh district in view of surge in positive cases. The district has been witnessing spike in COVID-positive cases due to influx of labourers from different parts of the country. The confirmed COVID-19 cases have crossed from 51 cases to 101 in span of 1 week. A report.
As part of preventive measure, RT-PCR negative report before 96 hours at the time of arrival in Ladakh has already been made mandatory for people coming to Ladakh. The State Executive Committee of Ladakh Disaster Management Authority in its guideline has made it mandatory. To minimize the spread of infection, the Disaster Management Authority has also ordered officials of 10 departments in the district to impose fine for those defaulters of not compliance of COVID-19 appropriate behavior. Yangchen Dolma for AIR News from Leh Ladakh.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Government expresses concern over recent spike in COVID-19 cases in Maharashtra and Punjab. Maharashtra reports highest single-day spike of COVID-19 cases, says ICMR. Campaigning for the first phase of assembly elections to end this evening in Assam and West Bengal. Election Commission suspends an observer of West Bengal over alleged misconduct and misuse of official position. Parliament passes National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Bill 2021. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to embark on a 2-day visit to Bangladesh tomorrow. This is the first visit abroad after 15 months. A special court in Delhi directs Congress leader P. Chidambaram and his son Karti to appear before it in connection with the INX Media money laundering case. European Union tightens export curbs over COVID-19 vaccines in a bid to avoid shortfall. Asia's largest tulip garden in Srinagar set to open for general public and tourists from today. And in sports, in ICC T20 International Player Rankings, Virat Kohli moves to 4th position. Rohit Sharma advances to 14th spot. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
The Parliament has passed the Government of the National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Bill 2021 with the Rajya Sabha giving its nod. The bill, which seeks to amend the Government of the National Capital Territory of Delhi Act 1991, has already been cleared in the Lok Sabha on Monday. The bill provides that the term government referred to in any law made by the Legislative Assembly of Delhi will imply Lieutenant Governor LG. The bill also prohibits the Legislative Assembly of Delhi from making any rule to enable itself or its committees to consider the matters of day-to-day administration of the National Capital Territory of Delhi. Minister of State for Home G. Kishan Reddy, in his reply to the discussion, said the bill does not intend to take away the powers of the elected government of Delhi, but only seeks to clear the ambiguities regarding the powers of the LG at par with other union territories in the country. He said the centre gives utmost importance to democratically elected governments and has complete faith in the democratic and constitutional spirit of the country. He said the bill also sets clarity regarding the role of the LG in the National Capital Territory, who is appointed by the President of India. Later, the House adopted the motion to consider the bill through a division of vote, with 83 members voting in favour of the motion, while 45 opposing it. The proceedings of the Rajya Sabha will begin today at 11 a.m., wherein the House has agreed to take up scheduled legislative business and dispense with the zero hour and question hour. In Assam, the campaigning for the first phase of polls will come to an end this evening. 47 seats will go to polls in this phase. 81 lakh voters will decide the political fate of 269 candidates. All the political parties are to make last efforts to woo the voters. More from a correspondent.
Most of the seats in the first phase are likely to have a straight fight between the NDA and Mahajot or Grand Alliance. However, the regional forces, Assam Jatiya Parishad and independent candidates of Raizor Dal would also expect to give fights in some seats. Chief Minister Sarvanand Sonowal, State Congress President Ripun Bora, Assam Gana Parishad Chief Otul Bora and Executive President Keshav Mahanta are in the fray in this phase. On the other hand, the President of Assam Jatiya Parishad, Lurinjyoti Gogoi, and President of Raizor Dal, Akhil Gogoi, are also making their polls debut through this phase. This phase has witnessed the participation of several high-profile leaders in campaigning, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP National President J.P. Nadda, Union Ministers Rajnath Singh and Amit Shah. Senior Congress leaders Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra and Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel also campaigned for their candidates. Manas Pratim Sharma, AR News, Guwahati.
In West Bengal, 191 candidates are in the fray for 30 assembly seats to be going for polls this Saturday, along with veteran politicians including ministers, MLAs, former ministers and former MPs. 2 actresses turned politicians are also among the contestants from Medinipur and Jhargram assembly constituencies. The campaigning for the first phase will come to an end this evening. More details from our Kolkata correspondent.
Eyes will be on Medinipur seat in the western part of the state, where Trinamool Congress has fielded new entrant actress June Malia, who is a popular face of the Bengali film industry. Once considered to be a stronghold of CPI, Tarun Kumar Ghosh, son of former MLA Kamakhya Ghosh, is the party's candidate, while BJP has fielded their former district president Shomit Kumar Das from the seat. On the other hand, in Jhargram constituency, actress of Shautali Films and daughter of former MLA Chunibala Hasda, Birbaha is contesting on Trinamool Congress's ticket. An old friend from a school life, leader of CPIM, Madhuja Sen Roy, is contesting as her rival this time, while Sukhomoy Shatpathy has been fielded by the BJP. Madhuparna Dhar Chaudhuri for AIR News, Kolkata.
Election Commission has ordered suspension of an Uttar Pradesh cadre IAS officer who was deployed as an observer for West Bengal assembly polls for his alleged misconduct with district officials and misuse of official position. In a letter to the Chief Secretary of Uttar Pradesh, the Commission said disciplinary proceedings should also be initiated against Narendra Prasad Pandey under India Service rules. He was appointed as General Observer in Kashipur Assembly constituency of West Bengal. However, the Commission had to remove him on 22nd of this month due to alleged misconduct in order to prevent any flare-up of the situation and to save the dignity of the institution of observer.
In Tamil Nadu, there is huge difference between biggest and the smallest assembly seats, as Sholin Ganalur has 6.99 lakh electorates and smallest harbour seat has 1.76 lakh voters. Details from a Chennai correspondent.
Sholinganallur near Chennai is the biggest constituency in terms of the number of voters. Incidentally, it is one of the youngest seats in the state. It houses several information technology behemoths of the country, helping it to get a glossy and sophisticated appearance. But behind its backyard are the state's biggest resettlement areas like Kannaginagar, where the population density and its associated issues are highly visible. In contrast, Harbour seat in Chennai is the smallest in the state, with just about 1.76 lakh voters. Harbour is one of the oldest ports in the capital city to evolve as a development hub, and yet it remains the smallest constituency. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
A special court in Delhi summoned former Union Minister P. Chidambaram, his son Karti Chidambaram and others in the INX Media Group money laundering case yesterday. All accused in the case have been directed to appear before the court on the 7th of next month. The court has taken cognizance of the Enforcement Directorate's main charge sheet in the matter. Special Judge M. K. Nagpal said there is sufficient material and grounds for proceeding further in the matter against all the 10 accused persons named in the complaint, out of which 6 accused are companies. Both the Enforcement Directorate and the Central Bureau of Investigation are conducting an inquiry in the money laundering case.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will embark on a 2-day visit to Bangladesh tomorrow. He will be visiting at the invitation of Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. The Prime Minister's visit is the first visit abroad after 15 months. The 2-day visit is in connection with the commemoration of 3 epochal events, including Mujib Borsho, the birth centenary of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The other events are 50 years of the establishment of diplomatic ties between India and Bangladesh and 50 years of Bangladesh's liberation war. Addressing media yesterday on the visit, Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla said India had lent its full support to this noble cause in which Indian soldiers sacrificed their lives too.
At a momentous time in our bilateral ties, Bangladesh is celebrating the 50th anniversary of its liberation war. India had lent its full support to this noble cause in which Indian soldiers also sacrificed their lives. Both countries are commemorating 50 years of the establishment of diplomatic ties this year. India, as you're aware, was one of the first countries to recognize Bangladesh in 1971.
A report.
Bangladesh is all set and eagerly awaiting the 2-day visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi starting tomorrow. Strict security arrangements have been made in the capital city for the visit of Prime Minister Modi. This is the first visit of Prime Minister Modi to a foreign country after the COVID-19 pandemic hit the world last year. The visit has a very special significance as it celebrates the special and unique ties with Bangladesh. During his visit, Prime Minister Modi will be received by Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina of Bangladesh at the airport. He will be given a ceremonial welcome and guard of honor on his arrival in the country. He will pay tribute at the Martyrs Memorial at Sawar outside Dhaka. Prime Minister Modi will hold delegation-level talks with his Bangladeshi counterpart and also call upon the President. In the afternoon tomorrow, he will participate in the main event at the parade ground in Dhaka as the chief guest of the concluding function celebrating the birth centenary of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib and the golden jubilee of the liberation of Bangladesh. Rajesh Jha, AIR News, Dhaka.
European Union has tightened its COVID-19 vaccine export control mechanism on Wednesday to prevent what it sees as an unfair one-way flow of vaccines out of the bloc. The measure could limit vaccine exports to countries like the UK, which produce some of their own vaccines but do not in turn send doses to the EU Commission. Chief Ursula von der Leyen said open roads should run in both directions.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Asia's largest tulips garden in Srinagar is scheduled to be open for the general public and tourists from today. To know more, let's listen to a Srinagar correspondent.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his tweet has urged the people to visit Jammu and Kashmir and enjoy the scenic Tulip Garden Festival in Srinagar, where 50 lakh flowers of more than 64 varieties are in full bloom nowadays. Mr. Modi has also not missed to convey the hospitality of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Meanwhile, in the wake of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, it has been decided that no visitor shall be allowed to enter the garden without mandatory face masks and all the standard operating procedures. It is worthwhile to mention that Badamwari Garden has already been thrown open on 21st of this month for the general public, which is currently witnessing almond bloom all around. This is Sunil Kohl for AIR News from Srinagar.
India captain Virat Kohli and vice captain Rohit Sharma are among the India batsmen to progress in the ICC men's T20I player rankings after clinching the home series against England 3-2 in Ahmedabad. Kohli has moved up one place to 4th position and is now the highest ranked from the country ahead of KL Rahul. Rohit moved up 3 places to 14th in the latest weekly rankings update, which took into account the 3-match Afghanistan-Zimbabwe series in Abu Dhabi, apart from the last 2 matches of the India-England series.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. National capital Delhi will face strong surface winds during the day. In Mumbai, the maximum temperature is likely to be around 33 degrees Celsius, while the minimum was 22 degrees. The city will have mainly clear sky. In Chennai, the temperature will rise up to 35 degrees Celsius, while the minimum was 25 degrees. Partly cloudy sky is forecasted in the city. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky today. Srinagar is likely to have partly cloudy sky. Temperature in the city will hover between 5 and 12 degrees Celsius. With clear skies, temperature in Jammu will hover between 14 to 29 degrees Celsius. Leh is likely to witness partly cloudy sky. Gilgit is expected to receive rain or snow. Muzaffarabad will have mainly clear sky. Dehradun is likely to have mainly clear sky. In Chandigarh, the temperature will hover between 13 and 32 degrees Celsius. Hyderabad will have partly cloudy sky. In Ahmedabad, the maximum temperature will be 39 degrees Celsius. And Patna is likely to have mainly clear sky, while Guwahati will have partly cloudy sky.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. A spike in COVID-19 infections is one of the stories that finds prominent mention in most of the dailies this morning. Stop mass gatherings, center to states, union territories, leads the Statesman. Double mutant variant found, no link with surge, reports the Indian Express. Justice N.V. Ramana set to take over as 48th Chief Justice of India, informs the Hindu. The paper says Chief Justice Bobde makes formal recommendation to government. Prime Minister going to Bangladesh on Friday for 1971 celebrations, informs the Asian Age. Bengal Chief Minister will be a son of the soil, says Prime Minister Modi, notes Hindustan Times. Rajya Sabha approves Delhi government bill amid opposition walkout, writes the Times of India, adding 83-45 vote establishes primacy of Lieutenant Governor. And finally, that hot chai will burn a hole in your pocket. Well, Business Line writes that whether or not that hot cup of tea scalds your lips, it will surely burn a hole in your pocket as the beverages prices are set to remain high with the drop in Assam's production.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Government expresses concern over recent spike in COVID-19 cases in Maharashtra and Punjab. Maharashtra reports highest single-day spike of COVID-19 cases, says ICMR. Campaigning for the first phase of assembly elections to end this evening in Assam and West Bengal. Election Commission suspends an observer of West Bengal over alleged misconduct and misuse of official position. Parliament passes National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Bill 2021. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to embark on a 2-day visit to Bangladesh tomorrow. This is the first visit abroad after 15 months. A special court in Delhi directs Congress leader P. Chidambaram and his son Karti to appear before it in connection with the INX Media money laundering case. European Union tightens export curbs over COVID-19 vaccines in a bid to avoid shortfall. Asia's largest tulip garden in Srinagar set to open for the general public and tourists from today. And in sports, in ICC T20 international player rankings, Virat Kohli moves to 4th position. Rohit Sharma advances to 14th spot. And for details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.